Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're deeply unpacking a short but honestly incredibly evocative poem called The Ink of Your Grace. It's a masterful example of packing overwhelming emotion into a remarkably tight space. Seriously, we're going to see how this writer builds a completely immersive world in just a handful of lines. So let's jump right into this striking imagery. Just sit with these opening words for a second. I am writing of your lips as roses, and of that intoxicating wine within your eyes. Wow. Notice how the text instantly drops us into this deeply intimate, romantic space. Before we even begin our architectural analysis of how this functions, we have to acknowledge the immediate weight of this physical imagery. It's so sensory, it's vivid, and it establishes a really powerful connection between the creator and the subject right out of the gate. Okay, moving into section 1, the physical muse, sensory details. And here we really see the sensory metaphors at play. Look at this juxtaposition. On one hand, you've got the lips being compared to roses, which, evokes something delicate, natural, fragrant, very classic. But then, right after that, the text hits us with the eyes containing intoxicating wine. It's a really sharp contrast. We're moving from the quiet, delicate beauty of a flower to the potent, overwhelming, almost dizzying effect of wine. The author is basically showing us that the muse isn't just passively sitting there looking beautiful. They actually possess a commanding, active power over the observer. Let's zoom in on that specific word for a second. Intoxicating. It is doing so much heavy lifting here. By definition, intoxicating means causing overpowering joy or a sudden loss of control. So, by choosing this exact word, the text proves the poet isn't just some passive observer sitting across the room sketching a portrait. No way. They are entirely captivated, utterly consumed by the physical canvas of the muse. It's like they're under a spell, and the beauty they're witnessing is literally altering their state of mind. All right, let's look at section 2, the enigma within, psychological shift. Who knows how many shades reside in your persona? Did you feel that shift? This is the exact turning point in the text. We pivot entirely away from the physical, the lips, the eyes, straight into the psychological. The poet is suddenly humbled. They realize that no matter how intensely they study the physical features of the person they're looking at, the inner landscape, the true self, is just this vast, unknowable mystery. It's a gorgeous admission of defeat, really. They're asking a question that inherently has absolutely no answer. Just look at the vocabulary of complexity being used here. Shades, persona, nuance, grace. I mean, these aren't solid, definable things, right? They're fluid. They shift in the light. Shades implies this whole spectrum of personality, while nuance suggests these tiny, almost imperceptible details that make up the whole. The poet is looking at their subject and realizing, wow, the human soul is just way too complex to be pinned down by simple observation. And because the muse is constantly revealing new shades of their persona, the poet's inspiration can never be static. The text actually reads, "With every passing moment, I pen a new dream for you." This is absolutely fascinating because it shows that the act of loving, or even just observing, is an active, continuous process. As the subject shifts and reveals a new nuance, the poet's inspiration actively refreshes. It demands a completely new dream with every passing moment. The artist is perpetually trying to catch up to the ever-changing beauty of their subject. Which brings us to section 3, the act of creation, obsession into art. Notice the rapid progression of effort happening right here. Step 1 is almost subconscious, right? Penning a fleeting, momentary dream. But then step 2 requires real active intent, meticulously gathering every nuance of their grace, almost like picking up scattered diamonds. And finally, step 3 just balloons into this monumental, overwhelming task of writing an entire book. The poet realizes that a single poem, a single dream, simply isn't enough space to hold the totality of this person. It's truly fascinating when you realize it takes exactly 6 short lines to journey from observing a simple physical trait to committing to a permanent, grand act of creation. Just 6 lines. The pacing is practically breathless. It perfectly mirrors that exact feeling of falling deeply in awe of someone. I mean, in the time it takes to read a single paragraph, the narrator's entire life's purpose has seemingly been redirected toward chronicling this one individual. And so we arrive at the poem's final definitive line. I am writing a book dedicated to your beauty. The fleeting, passing moments have now completely crystallized into a demand for permanence. It leaves us to ponder something really profound as we wrap up this explainer. How often do we, as humans, try to use the permanence of art, whether it's writing a book, painting a picture, or honestly, even taking a photograph? to somehow capture and immortalize the beautifully fleeting moments of human grace. It's an impossible task for sure, but as this exquisite text shows us, it's a task entirely worth pursuing. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this piece, and I'll see you in the next explainer.